morning, everybody. We are here today. My name is Giancarlo, and I am the current president of the McMaster Students Union. And I'm speaking with Gayleen Gray, our Assistant Vice President and Chief Technology Officer for McMaster. Welcome, Gayleen.
Thank you, and good morning to you. It's great to be here with you today. Looking forward to our conversation.
Yeah, looking forward to our virtual chats.
Yeah, the virtual chat. I'm virtually on campus, as you can see.
I know, I'm virtually in my office.
Yeah, that's right. It feels like that some mornings probably, right?
Every morning. I have my coffee, I'm ready to go.
Awesome, that's great.
To start off, I was wondering if, as our CTO for McMaster, would you mind speaking a little bit just to your role at McMaster? How would you describe your role to students?
Sure, I'd love to give you an explanation. It's probably a good reminder for me sometimes to think about how people perceive that title of Chief Technology Officer. The thing that I like to tell people is I spend my whole day talking to people, not necessarily dealing with technology, but certainly talking about technology. As the Assistant Vice President and Chief Technology Officer, I'm responsible for the technology at McMaster University, and that goes from infrastructure to keep our network running, all the way to new systems that we implement to support the mission of the institution. We have a McMaster IT strategic plan right now that we're rolling forward with. We're in year 2, and that means that there are zillions of projects going on that are keeping both our IT community members very busy, but also really changing the way people work on campus. So it's a really exciting time to be part of our McMaster IT community.
And I imagine, especially with everything going on and everything kind of shifting into this digital age, I can't imagine how busy your days have gotten. I imagine they were busy before, but now that everybody's probably wondering and looking for direction from your office.
It has been fascinating. I think we have rapidly moved forward with a number of initiatives much more quickly than we probably would have had we not had this situation. So we like to think of every opportunity, or every challenge as an opportunity, and we certainly have been faced with many opportunities as we've moved everybody into a remote work from home type of environment while continuing to keep the institution's business moving forward. So as you know, this all happened in March, so we were still mid-semester, and yeah, so it has been extremely busy, but it's also really exciting because people are embracing technology like they never have before, including this tool that we're using. As everybody knows, I think around the world, Zoom has really rocketed into the front page news for many reasons, and also because it is a really useful and easy tool for people to use.
For sure. And speaking of these tools, I know a lot of students now, I think it was 3 days ago or so, hearing that courses are primarily going to be online in the fall, are imagining that there's going to be a lot of these online tools that are going to be used. So could you speak a little bit to some of the different tools that students might see in the fall? So I know for the MSU, we use Teams a lot. We're using Zoom right now.
Sure.
What do you think students can expect to see in some of their courses?
Well, the good news that I want to share with students is that there is a lot of work going on campus to create the best experience for our students, whether they're new to McMaster or returning students. And one thing that's been really wonderful through this whole process is the amount of collaboration that's happening across campus, whether it's with faculty and instructors, or it's the administrative side, or the deans, or the president and the leaders. There's conversations happening across all of those areas, and the student experience is front of mind for everybody. So we're looking at a variety of different tools, but also trying to minimize the many to a few really well-used, well-supported tools so that students' experience is consistent and they can very quickly become familiar with the type of environment they'll be in. So definitely Teams will be used. And Zoom also is a tool that people are looking at, and Avenue to Learn. So the Desire to Learn workspace that many students are used to as well. One of the things that's really interesting is there's an opportunity to integrate across those tools, and so that is something that faculty are looking at as well. And there's also interest in ensuring that students and faculty and instructors understand the difference between sort of the live classroom experience versus what we call asynchronous, or the ability for people to go in and have really a multimedia kind of experience in the online environment. So we're working really hard right now to ensure that people on campus are able to support our faculty and instructors as they develop their programs and the content. That includes access to classrooms on site in order to develop the programming, and also ensuring that they've got the technical support and technology support that they need to deliver things in a timely fashion. So it's a busy summer for everybody.
For sure. And maybe sort of switching gears then, obviously there's, with everything shifting online, I know I've personally experienced, and some folks from our office have experienced, a ramping up, it seems, in terms of security online and account security and things like that, getting a lot of those phishing emails. Uh, is there a large concern for students getting those emails, or for that maybe interfering with classes in the fall? And do you have any insight on maybe what students can do to increase their account security?
I think that's a great question. And yes, absolutely, always a concern. And to your point, now that we've moved people off campus and by necessity, they're in various locations, the cybersecurity implementations that we have protecting our campus now have to extend out to everybody. So one of the things that we've been really pushing with people is to really put on their own IT security hat. We think of everybody as an extended member of our IT security team. We have quite a bit of information on our website around IT security, and I absolutely recommend that students, staff, faculty all go and take a look at that. And if you go to cto.mcmaster.ca and then look for the IT updates link and drop down, there's a whole area around cybersecurity resources there that will be really helpful for students, staff, and faculty as they continue to monitor their own environments. One of the big things we do know, and one of the the reality is for students and all of us, phishing is not going away. It is ramping up, and a lot of people have been taking advantage of the challenge around the pandemic to try and trigger people to click on links. So we want people to be really cautious and very sure about who they're receiving an email from, whether or not it's legitimate, and whether or not the links within those emails are legitimate. And I think for the most part, people are pretty astute on that front. When it comes to going online yourself and signing up for any online service, if it's not a McMaster specific service, a lot of people do use their McMaster email for that. And I would caution people to maybe use a personal email for signing up for non-McMaster systems. And if they're going to use their @McMaster email as their identifier, definitely do not use your @McMaster or your MacID password match. So we want to make sure that those credentials are kept specifically for McMaster. And that will help to provide some level of security in case there's ever a compromise at that end vendor, and we know that those things happen as well. For the most part, it's about really understanding your own technology environment as well. So on your own computer, ensuring that you're keeping your system up to date, that you've got potentially antivirus software to be monitoring for any potential issues on your computer, and really just thinking carefully before we click. And we're all working quickly to get things done. We just need to be really conscientious and in the moment as we're doing everything with our computers.
Absolutely. And then just quickly as well on that is, I know that a lot of Zoom meetings are now using passwords. Is that kind of going to be that primary way of trying to avoid any disruptances to classes? And like, I know that I've been in some meetings where you have folks that aren't supposed to be in the meeting, and then all of a sudden things get a little bit off course. So would you mind speaking to that a little bit?
Yeah, I think Zoom has been taken up by so many people that it was a target for bad actors who wanted to be disruptive. One of the things that we have at McMaster, and many institutions have done this, we have our own licensed version of Zoom. So anyone who is hosting a Zoom related interaction, whether it's a class or a meeting on campus, using our hosted version, there's a lot of embedded security now, and Zoom is continuing to increase its security posture. So by default, there is a password to get into the Zoom meeting. There is the ability to control who has, it's something as simple as who isn't muted, who needs to be, and who is, and those waiting rooms, so that even if you do log in, you have to be identified by the host before you're allowed to come in. All of those things really do make a difference in terms of keeping out anyone who shouldn't be in a meeting. And so when we're sharing our Zoom links, we want to ensure that we're being very conscientious again about where they're being shared also. We don't want to be posting links on an open web page. So typically what you'll see, I think in many cases with faculty and instructors, they'll be sharing that information specifically to their class, and that will allow students to log in. We're also looking at creating that login environment so that people logging into Zoom are identified as McMaster using their Mac ID and password. So again, that will add a level of security to things as well. So people should feel very confident. We are watching and monitoring, and we are teaching and sharing good security practices with our faculty and instructors as well as students.
That's great to hear. And as well, kind of shifting again, there's been a lot of talk recently about how technology will be really useful in terms of the current age for academia and supporting students academically. How do you see technology supporting that other side of student life? So a lot of university life and McMaster experience revolves around that community experience. So how do you see technology playing into that?
I think it can play a wonderful role, a really fundamental role in bringing community together. And I know that everybody would much rather be on campus and experiencing the campus life that we know and love. And we are absolutely hoping that we'll be able to get back to that as soon as we can. In the meantime, we're looking at technology and all it can do. One of the programs I think is really exemplary in this is the Archway program that's been developed for our new incoming students, where we are creating in Teams, Microsoft Teams, cohorts of students who'll be together with professional staff as well as senior students, and really creating strong community amongst those new students. And the reality is, people very quickly will start to make connections with each other through that environment and be able to take those relationships outside of that environment if they choose to do so. We're seeing similar programs happening with our new students in engineering. There's a program called Ember there that is sort of a precursor to the Fireball community. And we're also seeing that kind of interaction through other social media capabilities, so Instagram and the virtual tours of campus. We've had our May at Mac online this year. So there's a lot of people using and thinking very creatively about how to use technology in order to spark excitement and interest, but to create that community. And I imagine that you and your peers are also thinking along that line with the MSU. How can you create events and ensure that people still have the opportunity to come together with their cohort and start to engage in campus life in a virtual campus environment?
Absolutely. It's a topic of conversation every day for us. There's a lot of students that look forward to Welcome Week every year, that look forward to events throughout the year, to our services that we deliver. So similar to the university, this is top of mind for all of us as well.
It really is.
And it's really nice to be a part of a community that is so innovative and resilient in these times, and is able to use technology not only to advance the academic experience, but also that community university campus experience, even when we can't be there physically.
I agree with that 100%. And I just want to encourage all of our students to think creatively, share their ideas. We always look forward to hearing great ideas from our students, and hope that students will take the opportunity to become very engaged in the technology aspect of campus life, where it's much more visible to them through all of the situations that we're in right now. And we have an IT student advisory committee as a reminder, as well as just being a very open community, as you know, Giancarlo, around the way we all come together and interact with each other at McMaster. So if people have ideas, bring them. We're happy to hear what they have to say, and we hope that everyone looks forward to coming to McMaster.
Well, thank you very much. I think that about wraps up our time here, but I really appreciate you taking the time to speak with myself and also sharing lots of this information for current and future students that are coming in September. So I look forward to seeing all the work that comes out of UTS, and thanks again.
That's great. Thank you, and my pleasure. I'll look forward to talking to you again soon.